Greetings for everyone who are watching this video. We thank you in advance for spending your time today. Also for our research advisor, Dr. Joanne Barajas, thank you for guiding us with this research. I am Cecil Elbroy from BA 32. Good day everyone. Our research is entitled Students' Perception on the Use of Edmodo as a Learning Tool in Teaching Multi-Grade Subject. Chapter 1. In this chapter, we are going to discuss the following: Introduction, Conceptual Framework, Statement of the Problem, Hypothesis, and Significance of the Study. The first part of the study is the introduction. 21st century marked the rapid adaptation of the modern technologies. It is expected that individuals should adapt to the changes that happen in our society. And we all know that internet communication technology plays a key role in teaching and learning. Technological websites help students to enhance learning and understanding by easily accessing learning tools in social networking sites for educational purposes, called Edmodo. Edmodo is an educational network that aims at providing teachers with tools to help them connect and communicate with their students and parents. Via the Edmodo app or websites, teachers can easily share content, text, videos, homeworks, and assignments with their students online. Edmodo can be used in education where it was used as a tool to implement the viability of easier classroom expansion. Edmodo included features capable of providing unique needs for students and teachers. Edmodo can build knowledge and education in collaborative learning. Edmodo is made using classroom action research to help students facilitate their learning process through online class learning, which results and it demonstrates the ability of students in their tasks, and some activities increase after implementing Edmodo. And this related literature is requiring us to conduct this study because of its relevance. The conceptual framework of the study used a system approach called IPO, the input, process, and output, since it is a descriptive study. In this study, the input includes the title of the study. The process includes the sampling techniques, statistics, and survey questionnaire. In sampling techniques, the researcher used stratified technique because it is a quantitative research. In statistics, the researchers used descriptive research because it needed a mean, standard deviation, and percentage to conduct this, as well as the survey questionnaire. And the output includes the recommendation and the conclusion. Moving on to the statement of the problem where the study focused. Statement of the problem number 1. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of sex and age? Statement of the problem number 2. What is the perception of students in using Edmodo as a learning tool in teaching multi-grade subject in terms of the following variables? First, perception of using Edmodo. Second, views on using Edmodo to engage students. And third, views on students' experience using Edmodo. The SOP number 3, is there a significant difference between the students' perception in Edmodo as learning tool and their profile? And lastly, for the SOP or the statement of the problem number 4, is there a significant relationship among the perception variables to profile? And now for our hypothesis. hypothesis. Hypothesis number 1, there is no significant relationship between a student's perception in using Edmodo as a learning tool and the respondent's profile. And hypothesis number 2, there is no significant relationship among the perception variable to profile. And of course, this study is significant. It is significant to the students because the Edmodo application helped learners to stay on track. It organized a student's class folder and a planner to reduce the test. Students can deepen their knowledge about using Edmodo as a learning tool. Also with parents. Every parent will be able to get information they need to support their child's learning at home along with the resources they need to succeed at school. It also helps to stay updated about their children's grade and help students stay on track. Also with teachers. This study can benefit the teachers by showing them whether or not students are able to efficient through Edmodo. The result of the study can rope teachers into adopting more effective way of using Edmodo that can help students' learning. The study can also persuade teachers to adopt to more modern teaching styles that are based on technology, taking into consideration how technologically based students are today. And lastly, to the other researchers. This study can be a reference to the research if they conduct a similar study or related research. As the topic of technological education in the Philippines and online learning platform is general and still particularly new and unexplored, the topic can still be further researched upon.
Good day, everyone. I am Leah Fee Fahilan, one of the presenters of Group 1. Chapter 3. In this chapter, we're going to discuss a research design, population, sampling technique, research instruments, and statistical treatment of data. In our research design, this study is quantitative research, which measures numerical data. The researchers use descriptive method for the method of gathering the data to know what the perception of the students using Edmodo as a learning tool in education. For the population of this study, the participants were students from BEd third year level enrolled in City University of Pasay. A total of 82 students were involved in this study, with 68 female and 14 males. Samples are chosen using stratified random samples. Our research instrument, the questionnaire, was adapted and simplified from similar previous studies conducted by Mr. Supapor Manowong, entitled Undergraduate Students' Perception of Edmodo as a Supplementary Learning Tool in an EFL Classroom. It was a 5-point Likert scale survey questionnaire consisting of the following topics: 12-item questionnaire for perception of the use of Edmodo, 11-item questionnaire for views in using Edmodo to engage students, 7-item questionnaire for views on students' experiences using Edmodo. In our statistical treatment of data, to determine the respondent's profile, the frequencies and percentage were used with formula of percentage equal the number of respondents answer divided by the total number of respondents multiplied by 100. Next, to determine the respondent's perception, the mean and standard deviation were used with formula of: for weighted mean, multiply each weight by its matching value, sum that all up, and divided by the sum of weights. Next, standard deviation, equal to the square root of mean squared and mean, followed by to determine the significant difference between student perception in Edmodo as learning tool and their profile. ANOVA was used with the formula of ANOVA coefficient equal the mean sum of square due to treatment divided by mean sum of square due to error. Lastly, to determine the significant relationship among the perception variables to profile, Spearman-Rho correlation coefficient, eta correlation coefficient, and percent correlation was used with the formula of percent correlation coefficient equal to sum of the products of x and y divided by the square root of sum of square for variable x and sum of square for variable y. Next formula is Spearman-Rho correlation coefficient. Coefficient can take values from positive 1 to negative 1. A coefficient of positive 1 indicates a perfect association of ranks. A coefficient 0 indicates no association between ranks, and a coefficient of negative indicates a perfect negative association of ranks. The closer the coefficient is to 0, the weaker association between the ranks. Next formula is eta correlation coefficient equal the sum of squares for the effect you are studying divided by the total sum of squares for all the effects, errors, and interaction in the ANOVA study.
Good day, I am Ivy Isaw. Now, let us move on for the Chapter 4, Presentation, Analysis, and Interpretation of Data. Statement of the problem number 1. What are the respondents' profile in terms of sex and age? This table shows the frequency and percentage distribution of respondents characterized based on their sex. There are 82 participants. The table shows that 82.93% of the respondents are female, while 17.07% of the respondents are male. Majority of the respondents are female. This table shows the frequency distribution of respondents characterized based on their age. There are 82 participants. The table shows that 0% of the respondents are below 19 years old. 74.39% of the respondents are 20 to 22 years old. 12.20% of the respondents are from 23 to 25 years old. 13.43% of the respondents are above 26 years old. Majority of them are 20 to 22 years old. For the statement of the problem 2, what is the perception of students in using Edmodo as a learning tool in teaching multi-grade subject? We use the weighted mean and standard deviation. The overall students' perception with the weighted mean 3.44 and standard deviation 0.74 with the verbal interpretation high. High means that all the students are knowledgeable of the function, properties, usage, application of Edmodo as a learning tool in multi-grade. For the statement of the problem 3, is there are significant differences between students' perception in Edmodo as a learning tool and their profile? The study aimed at determining the relationship of select variables with the participants utilizing Edmodo. This table shows that there is no significant differences among the respondents' age, since the computed one-way ANOVA value of 0.734 is higher than the p-value of 0.483 with the average weighted mean of 3.39 for the age of 20 to 22, a weighted mean of 3.67 for the age of 23 to 25, and a weighted mean of 3.54 for the age of 26 and above. It also shows that there is no significant differences among the respondents' sex, since the computed t-test for the independent samples value of negative 0.120 is lower than the p-value of 0.905. Male weighted mean of 3.42 and female weighted mean of 3.45. The null hypothesis is accepted and there is no significant differences in the age and sex of the said respondent. For the statement of the problem 4, is there a significant relationship among the perception variables to profile? The overall student's perception in using Edmodo and age with test value of 0.110 with a p-value of 0.326 have a test relationship of Spearman-Rho correlation coefficients, and the variables are not significant. The other 4 variables have a test relationship of eta correlation coefficients, where 2 of them are not significant. Overall students' perceptions in using Edmodo and sex with test value 0.013 and p-value of 0.905, and while the 3 remaining variables with a test relationship of person or correlation have a significant, very strong, and positive correlation, where our perception about using Edmodo and views on using Edmodo to engage students with test value 0.883 and p-value of 0.00, and the perception about using Edmodo and views on students' experiences using Edmodo with 0.883 test value and p-value of 0.00, and the views on using Edmodo to engage students and views on students' experiences using Edmodo with test value 0.889 and p-value of 0.00.
Based on our study, the following conclusions were drawn. First, the use of Edmodo is a good learning tool because it allows students to improve their learning through an active participation in online discussion and tasks. Second, majority of the participants agree that the use of Edmodo is a good application to support online discussions, and based on the result of our study shows that it is a great collaboration tool for students and teachers. Next, third-year BE Ed students in CUP have high perception and views on students' experiences using Edmodo. And lastly, the views of third-year student on using Edmodo to engage students is considered as moderate.
And now for the recommendations. We researchers proposed 5 recommendations in this study. First, as both teachers and students alike do not use Edmodo daily, the researchers recommend a more scheduled use of Edmodo that we believe can help teachers and students utilize Edmodo better and in turn boost productivity. Second, for a more accurate measurements of productivity of Edmodo, the researchers recommend to the future researchers to evaluate efficiency of Edmodo in City University of Pasay if a more scheduled use of Edmodo is implemented. Third is the researchers recommend the study to be repeated in the next few years to see improvement in efficiency of different time period. Next is the researchers recommend that Edmodo is a great collaboration application for students and teachers on online learning. And last recommendation, the researchers highly recommend using Edmodo application in other schools that are involved in online learning.
We would like to thank you for all the reference we use in this research.